Now let's cover a little bit of Muslim apologetics here. Just a little bit of that. Let's look at Genesis chapter 25 and verse 1. Then again Abraham took a wife, and her name was Keturah. Abraham, he again takes himself a wife to marry. The wife's name is Keturah. So after Sarah died, Abraham wanted to remarry. He gets one. Keturah gives birth. Now, you'll notice that I wrote down, I don't know if the camera can show it pretty clearly. It was a little light purple. You know, I don't know why. The pen's been too long in San Francisco Bay for too long, so I guess that's why. But anyway, it's like a light, weird purple color. I hope that people can see that. That's how the descendants go from Ishmael's line. Ishmael's line. So we're going to be covering Keturah as well as Ishmael's line. And the reason why they're both related is because a lot of the descendants are actually Arabic. A lot of the Arabian descendants are from these two lines, Keturah as well as Ishmael. So Genesis 25 is your chapter that can deal with the Arabic people, if you're interested on their descendants or where they come from. Now, like I usually try to do, I explain each and every name. So if you're ready, make sure that your hand's ready, because we're going to go through this, okay? I'm just going to simply read from Dr. Altman's Genesis commentary and then explain each and every name quickly. So Keturah's the new wife of Abraham. She gives birth to the children, and here are their names and their meanings. First of all, we see that Keturah is mentioned. And then the next part is Zimran at verse, actually her name is given here. Her name in Hebrew supposedly means incense. Incense. Verse 2, and she bare him Zimran. So she gives birth to a son named Zimran. Zimran means celebrated. Celebrated. And Jokshan. Jokshan means fowler. Fowler, F-O-W-L-E-R. Now, Zimram's descendants could be Zabram, west of Mecca on the Red Sea. Jokshan probably are the Kassamites of Arabia. That's K-A-S-S-A-M-I-T-E-S. The next person, and Medan. Medan means judgment. Means judgment. Again, Arabian tribes, not too many specifics on that. And Midian. Now, Midian is very plain. We see that in future passages in the scriptures. They're undoubtedly connected somehow to Arabian descendants. Midian means contention. Contention. Dr. Ruttman writes, the Arabians of Sela, Petra, and Edom. So they might have a play in the tribulation. We'll see. And Ishbak. Ishbak means free. And he's from the North Arabian tribe. Next person. Let's see right here. Where am I at? Okay, and Shua. Shua means depression. Depression. I know some Korean or Asian names are called Shua, so that must be a depressed individual. All right, next one. And Jokshan begat Sheba. So remember, Jokshan is mentioned at verse 2. So then Sheba is going to be the grandchild of Keturah. So Sheba means oath or covenant. Kind of like, remember, the Queen of Sheba? Right. So there's so she might have some relation to that. And Dedan. Dedan means low. Low. It's actually named after the grandson of Cush. Grandson of Cush, believe it or not, where Nimrod's line came from. Let's see over here. And the sons of Dedan, so now we're coming to the great-grandchildren, right? From Dedan's line, were Ashurim. Ashurim means mighty ones, mighty ones. And Letushim, that means oppressed or struck. Oppressed or struck. And Lumim, Lumim, that means peoples, peoples. It could have some relation to some kind of Arabic tribe or Arabic wording, Beni Lam. Beni Lam. Might have some kind of historical connection there if you dig it up. Anyways, Next one is, and the sons of Midian. So now we're coming to Midian's line. Remember, we covered Jokshan's line at verse 3. Now we're covering Midian's line at verse 4. So now, remember, this is the grandchildren. Ephah. Ephah means obscurity or a measure. Obscurity or a measure. And Epher. Epher means young deer or calf. Young deer or calf. And Hanok. Hanok means dedicated. Dedicated. Supposedly Hanaki, which is Hankye, north of Medina, Arabia. Next one is an Abida. Abida means father of knowledge. Father of knowledge. Supposedly he's Eboda in Arabia. And Eldaah. Eldaah means whom God called. All these were the children of Keturah. Now, this is something important. Notice right here, and Abraham gave all that he had unto Keturah's children, unto the Arabic people. Those poor Muslims, no, that's not what it said. Unto Isaac, that's the Jews. So it goes to Isaac. Everything Abraham owned and had was given to Isaac, his son, the Jewish descendants in line and lineage. But unto the sons of the concubines. Now notice the Holy Spirit says concubines. The sons of the concubines. So Keturah was a concubine of Abraham. But it doesn't say one concubine. It says sons of the concubines. Then who's the other concubine Abraham married? Hagar. Oh, so we're covering Ishmael's line too. So notice that Ishmael's descendants, Keturah's descendants, which Arabic people have connections to, that the sons of those two women, Keturah and Hagar, which Abraham had these sons, self-explanatory. Abraham gave gifts and sent them away from Isaac, his son. So Abraham gave these descendants who have connections to the Arabian people, gave them gifts, but he sent them away from the Jews, where Isaac, his son, was at. You know what that means? The Arabic people have no business being in the same place where those Jews are. Right. Now, the argument goes, well, we were here first, right? Then those Jews came and took our territory and land. Hey man, you don't study history. This is BC 1857. They got first dibs thousands and thousands of years before. Yeah. So that argument don't work. Number two, they kind of earned it because they had no nation for over a millennia. Yeah. They suffered. They went through the Holocaust, for crying out loud. Now, do I approve of the ways that the Israeli government is doing things? No, as much as I don't approve of the American government or even the Republican Party of how they do things. Every government official has corruptions. Why? It's not God's government. It's man's government. And man's government and kingdoms are ruled by Satan. Luke 4, the kingdoms of this world are given to Satan. So don't use man's flaws and sins as an excuse that, well, they shouldn't be there. No, it's not a matter of based on their sins. It's a matter of what God promised and what His Word said. What His Word said. And don't worry about the poor people. Because when you study the politics and the depths of it, both sides suffered. Both sides have good arguments. You know what that is? That's called sin. Sin is so unfair that you're not going to get your fair privilege or your rights like you are deceived into thinking.